Limited companies. Limited companies are incorporated businesses. We discussed what incorporated businesses are in the previous video. They have their own legal identity. Let's take a look at some of the features of limited companies. Official procedure needs to be followed when forming a limited company. Capital is raised by issuing shares. The day-to-day work is run by directors who are elected by shareholders. The profits are distributed among the shareholders as dividends, and the owners have limited liability. Forming a limited company. First, two or more members send a bunch of documents, which we will discuss later on, to the Registrar of Companies. These documents make up the constitution of the company, stating how the company should be structured and governed. The members will now get a certificate of incorporation, officially approving the formation of a limited company. One of the documents that have to be sent is the Memorandum of Association. This sets out the constitution by giving details of the company, including the name and address of the office, objectives of the company, amount of capital that has to be raised, and the number of shares that has to be issued. Another document is the Articles of Association. This sets out the internal running of the company, including shareholder rights, procedure to appoint directors, the length of service of directors, which is re-election, the timing of company meetings, and the arrangement for company accounts. Private limited companies are small or medium sized and tend to be owned by families and passed down through a heritage. Some features of private limited companies are: shares can only be transferred if all shareholders agree to it. Directors are usually shareholders involved in the day-to-day running of the business. Now let's take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of private limited companies. Advantages: limited liability, more capital can be raised, control cannot be lost to outsiders, businesses will continue if a shareholder dies, and it has more status or respect. Disadvantages: the financial information is made public, it costs money to set up, the profits are shared between the shareholders, it takes time to transfer shares, and it cannot raise as much capital as public limited companies. Public limited company. A public limited company has shares available to public in the stock exchange. This means that anyone can buy shares, other companies, individuals, or investors. However, for a company to become a PLC, it can be very expensive, since the company needs lawyers to publish the prospectus. The prospectus needs to be published after printing. They have to pay banks to process applications. They have to pay the advertising fees. And in most countries, there should be a minimum of £50,000. A prospectus is a document provided by a company that wants the public to buy its shares. Now let's take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of public limited companies. Advantages: large capital can be raised, limited liability, can exploit economies of scale, can dominate the market, shares can be bought and sold easily, they have a high media profile. Disadvantages: they are expensive, outsiders can take control by purchasing many shares, the financial information is made public, the owners are more remote from customers, they must follow regulatory rules from company acts, the managers may take control of the business.